The principles of environment, social governance, and sustainability, ESGS, are not new to us as individuals or as an industry, but they have assumed a new level of importance to business and society in the wake of climate change, ever-widening inequality, global uncertainty, and increasing economic risk. As an institute, we see it as our mandate to inform, to educate, and to convene our members through dialogue and debate on these critical issues. The SAIMM Council has approved and brought into being the SAIMM ESGS Committee, the mandate of which is to guide, educate, and inform our members of the pillars, the tenets, and dimensions of ESGS in mining, and to be seen as thought leaders in its progressive evolution for our mining sector. Significantly, in line with the importance of ESG to the minerals industry, we have also agreed on full membership of the SAIMM now being open to mining industry ESG practitioners. Ultimately, ESGS, or responsible mining, needs to achieve the same status as safety and the widely accepted concept of zero harm, and so become a fundamental part of our mining DNA and the way we behave as professionals. In fulfilling our mandate, we've established the ESGS webinar series. This is one of them. And we'll have an annual SAIMM journal edition, which is dedicated to ESGS papers, coupled with monthly commentary on ESGS-related themes, in addition to the normal conferencing activities.
Policy makers and governments and societies are exploring more sustainable economic models. Our economic growth projections as a global society are outpacing global resource supply. An analysis shows that the total demand for resources is expected to reach about 130 billion tons by 2050, up from 50 billion in 2014, and an overuse of the Earth's total capacity by more than 400%. I mean, in short, our economic growth trajectories are simply unsustainable. The world doesn't have enough resources. I mean, interestingly, by 2030, there's going to be about 2.5 billion new consumers joining the middle class. And as you can see from that graph, the more a society or a country has in the middle class, the higher resource utilization that takes place. However, there's certainly opportunities. If you have a look at some of the numbers on this slide, global society, we are extremely wasteful. About 31% of the food, for example, that we generate goes to waste in the value chain. About 30% of the value in steel is lost after its first phase of recycling. And so clearly all of these inefficiency numbers indicate that there are opportunities for us as a society to be more efficient in the way we go about doing things. If you have a look then also based on work done by the United Nations, they also show the huge opportunity that the circular economy offers. About a $4.5 trillion economic opportunity by their assessments through us actually avoiding waste generation, stimulating new business growth, and then obviously creating the so-called green job opportunities that the circular economy presents us. So really, one of the things we've got to do is decouple growth from resource use. And we have to eliminate waste in all its forms, including inefficiencies, and needs to be identified and reduced to the absolute maximum. Among the approaches to mitigate that scale of consumption, including its adverse effects on social development and climate, and contributing to achieving a decarbonized economy, is the circular economy. The circular economy is about minimizing waste in all its forms and making the most of what we have, natural resources included, and it is more than just recycling. That's a very important point. It advocates reusing, redesigning, sharing, repairing, refurbishing, remanufacturing, and recycling. consuming fewer resources in the first place, and then using them for longer. At a fundamental level, it's about transforming the linear business models that society has depended on for so long and built on the principle of take, make, and dispose into models that are regenerative by design. The shift from the linear to the circular value chains has the potential to impact all aspects of mining, and it requires us to rethink. We've got to rethink more efficient operations, addressing the value lost through byproducts of business processes across energy, emissions, water, and waste. We've got to look at new products and services, rethinking the design, life cycle, and end-of-life stage of a product or service to optimize the usage and close the loop. We've got to change ecosystem dynamics, collaborating and partnering with public and private sector peers to create an enabling environment for collective transformation. To decouple growth from resource use, waste in conventional linear processes needs to be identified across 4 key dimensions. First, wasted resources, and you'll see on the slide there's a couple of examples around renewable energy, solar, etc. We've got to then, the second dimension is wasted capacity, the third is wasted life cycles, and 4 is wasted embedded value. And this helps us create a framework through which to assess circular economy opportunities. Circular economy theory tells us that 5 circular business models are the key to circular value creation along the entire value chain across circular supplies, sharing platforms, products as services, product life extension, and recovery and recycling. An effective circular economic model globally creates value for industry across 4 broad areas. That's increase in profits from incremental revenues, cost savings to the industry, revenue shift, and average operating margins. So that's what it means for business. But then you can see there's a whole raft of value for the broader society. And then that's ultimately what the circular economy is intended to achieve, is a more sustainable society. Moving on now to what some of the external trends and drivers are in the circular economy space globally. Circularity is growing in prominence on the global agenda and being embraced by downstream customers and many of our customers in the mining industry. And this is then obviously having an impact back on mining. Momentum is building. Society expectations are growing. Customers are increasingly demanding sustainable, ethical, sourced commodities in their products. And investors are also ranking companies by their sustainability criteria and ESG performance. Regulatory pressures are increasing, and demand patterns for metals are shifting.